Good afternoon, friends. Today I'm very happy to introduce to you my dear friend Vibhav Roy, someone I've known for almost 3 decades now. And you wouldn't like me calling it, but I need to call out his bluff someday. Someone who was my neighbor for a good part of almost 2 decades when he moved back from England to India to do his schooling. Coming from a family of doctors, he went to Australia for his studies, did his degree in business, then became a certified chartered accountant in Australia, and he worked for IBM for almost a decade. But from what our conversation have been, and now that I've known you since so long, I always knew, because you told it to me, and even when you don't, I can gather that it was not something which was satisfying. Like you were earning good money, you were well settled in a comfortable place in a beautiful city like Melbourne, which I have the privilege of visiting, and in fact I visited you over there. But coming back to 2020, you moved to India in 2012, and this was after, and you went to Australia in 2005. So after almost 7-8 years, and then the journey from your first break on the TV to Gustakh Dil till your latest movie blockbuster Padmavat. What do you think that was satisfactory enough, which makes you think that the decision which you took to give up everything and come out was worth it, or is that moment yet to come?
I think it's not a moment; it's more of a journey. So, as an accountant at IBM, I learned a lot.
Right.
But I also realized that accounting was not for me. I was very depressed. I was borderline suicidal as an accountant.
Right.
And I was not enjoying it at all. So the only things I used to enjoy were watching movies or gambling. Now I can't gamble for a profession, so I'm gambling away my life. My dad tells me as an actor.
Right.
But on a serious note, I really enjoy it, and it gives me some sort of gratification which I can't articulate.
Right.
And as you said that there's I've done a couple of stints here and there, but I have a long road ahead of me, so I'm enjoying the journey and I'm taking it as it comes. And being me is very boring. So in this profession, I get to be a lot of different characters.
Right.
So I love it, and yes, just so far so good. Trying to get into the headspace of someone else
being you, I don't agree
intoxicating,
and I'm sure a lot of girls out there
like meditation.
Boring. But the fact of the matter that you've done both TV, soap, and cinema, obviously, I understand, that you were there in a movie I just mentioned, but a lead role in a major movie is yet to come, which I'm sure is around the corner. What excites you more? What gives you more satisfaction? Being in front of a larger audience, but on the small screen, or being in front of a more premium audience, if I can say so, but on the large screen. If I'm wrong, correct me. But what's more exciting?
I mean, both the mediums have their pros and cons, but I've learned a lot in television, so there's no way I'm going to diss it.
Right.
I'm not a formally trained actor. Whatever I've learned is pretty much on the job.
Right.
As you said, I started late, so I'm very thankful and indebted to the TV industry because they gave me a lot of work, a lot of experience, a lot of love, and a lot of money as well.
Right.
And once I moved on to films, it's a different ball game altogether, and there's a lot of time, there's a lot of attention to detail, so it's more enjoyable as an artist.
Right.
So if I had to pick between the two, I'd definitely say I'd like to break out big into films.
Right.
And even web is coming up now.
So that's what I was going to come to here.
Yeah. So digital series is also a really good platform, and all these Netflix, Amazons. So anyway, as long as the stories are good, I want to be part of good stories, play good characters, and just be happy.
Right. Coming to the web thing you just said, with the COVID crisis, I think more so than ever now, it will be a much quicker transition from the big screen onto the internet. I think, invariably there will be movies which will be releasing online before they go into the theaters, because even if when everything reopens, I don't see the public going to cinemas as much as they used to, at least for the foreseeable future. If not, then just because of the news around it, that you don't want to go in a place where there's so much intimacy, where there's so much crowd, and especially in India, you can say maybe in Delhi, Mumbai, or the bigger cities where you have these multiplexes, they can afford to charge more tickets and have what they're thinking of flights, have one seat drop, but not in the smaller towns. How mad the rush is over there, and how people are flocked. So do you think this will actually benefit people like you, to get a quicker grasp? And do you have anything coming up on the web, if you're allowed to speak about it?
I mean, I have a couple of web shows just around the corner. I was actually shooting for one, and the other one was starting really soon, but courtesy the corona crisis, everything is just we don't know when we're going to start shooting. But as you said, in terms of cinemas, it looks unlikely that they're going to be opening in the near future.
Right.
So web is the way to go. And yes, I just hope there's a silver lining here, and it opens some opportunities for us to probably leverage from television films into web.
Right. Well, even if there's no silver lining, then we take satisfaction in the part that it's not just us. The whole world is in the same crisis. In fact, we are lucky that the government took proactive steps, and we are where we are, considering both the size of our country, the population, and also the density of the population. I think touch wood, we have till now avoided the worst, and you would know that better because both your parents are doctors. And coming forward to from your career path to a personal path, what do you, as in, I understand how difficult was it to convince your parents, or did they completely support you in your call, or was it more like like it is in the Indian way, that they support you but they still give you that preface, that dekh lo, theek hai, what like an honest answer, I know it that they could, especially your father, he completely support you in this, but was there a word of caution that just understand what all you're giving up?
I mean, honestly speaking, the bigger challenge was to convince myself.
Right.
Because parents have always been very supportive, They tell me if you're not happy, nothing is worth it.
Right.
But initially when I was, on the onset of making this decision, I can't call it viable or even practical or logical. It was completely out of the blue, and
right.
It had been building up inside me, but I had never even owned it up to myself that I want to be an artist, I want to be an actor.
Right.
So once, that battle was out of the way, then I owned it up to myself. This is what I want to do, and I'm going to go all in.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and dad are just, a lifeline. They're like, if you're convinced about it, if you know what you're doing, and if your gut tells you, your heart tells you, then go out there and we'll always back you to the best of our ability.
It's lovely to hear. But
the word of caution was there. And my dad actually mortgaged the house to send me to Australia.
Right.
So it was a very big decision for me. I don't come from a really, well-off background, so I actually had to pay off my loan, which I managed to do courtesy IBM.
Right.
And then I had like these minuscule savings, which I took with myself to stay afloat in Bombay, but they didn't last long. So a lot of love and support has come from my parents, and whatever little I've achieved in my life, it's because of them.
Right. And with regards to Bombay, when you moved to Mumbai, did you have like a plan in place? Did you speak to people for moving, or was it like we'll go and we'll see? Or did you know people? Like, I know you went to dance school and everything, but did you kind of had a plan? Did you have a manager or something, who lined up things for you, meetings and all, or was it that you just went into the bubble and then you tried to swim around it?
It's like you take the first leap in faith.
Right.
So I just pretty much took the plunge, and I did try and do the basic online research, but it's preliminary. It doesn't help.
Right.
So you have to be in the middle of the action, and even when I'm there, I kind of talk to a lot of contemporaries, and they tell me, what's going to work for me is not going to work for you. It's just like life, everyone has a different exam.
Right.
So there's no point cheating, but yeah, the research definitely helps. But I went 8 years ago, so there was not a lot on the internet.
Right.
So yes, I just went there. I joined an acting school, and then one thing led to another, and here I am.
Lovely, because as you rightly said, and from one of the quotes from my book is that you can only come first if you don't live life like a race, because I think that's what I realized in my limited experience, is that I've not taken as bold steps as you, and neither do I intend to, because I'm very happy where I am, satisfied. But jokes apart, I think the comparison is the thief of joy. I think till the time you're happy in what you're doing, you give it your 100%, and I think after the point it's destiny. If you're giving it your 100% and you're lucky, I think you'll go places. But I think the key is to give it your 100%, and I think you can only give it your 100% if you feel for it. If you are being forced into it or coerced into it, or you're doing something which you're not happy about it, even if you want, that 100% doesn't come out. That's what I feel. And in fact, absolutely. I even felt it in certain areas of law which are not my interest. If I get a case, and if it's something which does not interest me, the client might be giving me the biggest paycheck, but it doesn't come out within me. I have to force myself rather than enjoy doing that. Is it similar?
Absolutely, and as an accountant, even though I tried really hard, I just say I was just about average.
Right.
Not that I'm saying I'm a phenomenal actor, but I sleep tight. You know, I have a sound sleep every day at night because I know I've given it my best, and it happens organically, as you said. It comes from within, so it doesn't feel like work. It feels more like meditation. As I told you, it's therapeutic. After work becomes therapeutic.
Right.
That means you're in the right job. And my boss told me this when I was at IBM. I'll never forget this. I told him, 5 years, 10 years down the line, he said, "Do you see me, as your future?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to do the job you're doing." And he said, "It's high time you change, because if you hate your boss's job,
right,
you're definitely in the wrong line of work."
That's a very well said. In fact, my next question is very similar to that. Is linked to that. 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, we hope, things work out as you planned it, or even better than what you planned. But, just in case, 30 years down the line, I think the main thing which you should be having is regret. Because, what I've realized in life is that the greatest regret in life is the regret of not doing things, and not doing things when you wanted to do them, So 30 years down the line, if you sit down over a drink and you say, that if I was in Melbourne till now, I would have been a partner or something, having a $20 million job and this and that, settled family, but not satisfied. Or here, I gave it my all, I enjoyed my life to my terms. Whether it worked out or not, what would you prefer? It's hindsight, but it's foresight, but you never know.
I mean, the scenario I prefer is that thank God I came
right
to Mumbai and it all worked out. That's the scenario I would like to envision and manifest.
Right.
But worst comes to worst, if things don't work out, I don't, as you said, want to live by that what if philosophy.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, I gave it my best. I followed my gut. And as that cliche saying goes, the biggest risk you can ever take is not taking one at all.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to live by that philosophy. I want to go all out. And yes, if my heart tells me to do it, you just follow the beat of your heart.
Lovely. That's a lovely answer. And just kind of to conclude it, because there are a lot of other people, especially youngsters from this part of the country, Delhi and North India, because the film industry is still very concentrated in the Hindi film industry, not the other languages, still very concentrated in Mumbai. And a lot of people are in the same boat as you. Well-educated backgrounds, certain expectations from the parents or from the society, not just their parents. Parents are very supportive to follow a set path. After school, go to university, get a degree, either join the family business or join a job, 9 to 5, or even start their own business. But a lot of them have that in there. They don't want to do that. They want to enjoy the showbiz. So what is your advice, to people because people will relate more to us because we are their age, the people whom I'm talking about. What's your opinion to them?
The only unsolicited advice I can give to them is that, as you said, you'll only be good at something you're really, really passionate about.
Right.
So if you're really passionate about something, go at it full throttle. If it works out, wow. If it doesn't, both of us love Shah Rukh Khan, right? And he has this saying, अगर जीत गए तो क्या कहना?
हारे भी तो बाजी मारनी.
There we go. That's
right,
it.
So, but that's a very good thing. I would, like to give in one more input into this. Then you can either, contradict me, or you can, if you agree with me, then you can take it forward. But I think you must follow where your dreams are. You must go all over it. But I think you should always, like in your case, you should always have a backup. I think the fact that you went there, you have a degree. I think it goes on in a huge way in giving you that mental space that worst comes to worst, I can always go back and go job, right? I think that is something which kind of is a better balance. Some people will say you either go all out and take that risk. I would say you take a calculated risk. That's my philosophy. Supposing 5 years down the line I don't want to continue with law. If I decide to do anything, I know that in case my passion doesn't work out, I can come back and try for a job. I won't be where my peers will be because I would have left it. But at least I have the and that security to me will allow me to take greater risks. What I mean? It might be different for you, it might be different for someone else, but that's my philosophy. That having a backup to fall back upon is a huge strength.
Absolutely, it's a good cushion to have. But truth be told, when I went to study in Melbourne, I wanted to be a full-time accountant. I wanted to pursue it as a career.
Right.
I didn't go get an education just because I wanted a backup.
Right.
The realization that I don't want to do this for a lifetime happened when I started working.
In the transition, right.
And now I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but as of now, I just tell myself there is no plan B.
Right.
So Will Smith says this, I mean, I'm not. I mean, due respect to you,
Right.
but he says that the only thing Plan B does, it takes your attention away from planning.
Right.
And I think Napoleon used to do it as well. He's like the minute he'd reach an island, he'd burn the boats.
All right.
I think I'm not sure it was Napoleon.
Well, I'll stick. I prefer another one of Napoleon's quote. That you must always drink champagne. In victory you deserve it, in defeat you need it. So that's what Napoleon also used to say.
So either way you want to get hammered.
Absolutely, you want to enjoy. So.
Yeah. But I don't drink. You know that. The biggest difference.
On camera, yes. But jokes apart, thank you so much, and it was lovely talking to you. And we hope to do another episode with you in the next season.
And I want to give a compliment to you.
Right.
You look very cute while interviewing me. I'm not hitting on you, but you're looking very, very cute.
Thank you, and all the girls out there, listen to that.
And he's blushing.
Thank you.
Thank you.